So today we talked about the cryptocurrencies and digital coin, which is something that I believe also over there, Alex, is getting very hot. My experience from Asia and China, I can tell you that it's been going on for a few years now, and just starting to explore the potentials of that. And I think it's huge. But what's going on in the U.S. at the moment?
Yeah, it's a big popular craze right now. Like usual, we may be one of the global leaders, but we're always behind in so many things. So we're starting to see a lot more mention of all the different cryptocurrencies. Obviously, Bitcoin being the biggest right now, and we're seeing a lot of smaller ones come up. There's a huge push on social media for the ease of use of going onto your phone and buying and trading and selling and actually being able to access Bitcoin right on your iPhone or your Android device here. So it's something we're seeing a lot more of. But right now here in the United States, there's really not a use for it. There are a very limited amount of big companies that are even accepting it. Here, the big digital pay thing is just using your phone as your debit or credit card. There's a big push right now behind Elon Musk using it and trying to promote it, saying that Tesla's going to take it. So that will be interesting to see if other companies kind of follow suit with that. Is it being used a lot over there right now in Europe?
No, 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 no. The experience that I was going to tell you about is obviously from China because I remember first time I got there a few years back, 2014. The people were still using cash, but not cards anymore. I mean, China has
Right.
been stopped using cards for a long time before, but cash was still used. And then a few years later, like 2017 or something, all of a sudden I go back to China and I don't see cash anymore. Almost not more. Just everybody using smartphones. Everybody's on WeChat Pay or Alipay. Alibaba. China has a big, huge plan to make this to regulate. That's the key, I guess. The government regulation of this to regulate the currencies in a way that everybody in China and the Chinese allies around that, namely the Pacific area, the Pacific Rim area, including Australia, would benefit by the digital currencies as opposed to the huge banking system that we both know. And what you're telling me right now is that there is a big push in the US, which is very interesting to me because it means almost that apparently China policy to forward the digital currencies over the cash, it's been successful. So my questions from a business point raises that Alex, if America will, let's say, will embrace the digital currency and the peer-to-peer blockchain, the type of system of payments and everything, what's the role of the dollar that right now it's backing up the oil and like it's being considered international currency? But do you think that will be weakened in somehow or not?
Yeah, that's really hard to say because I don't think we're going to be anywhere close to a full understanding and acceptance of it right now, because the federal government and federal banks are saying they're not going to touch it, they're not dealing with it, they're not guaranteeing it. Here, the U.S. dollar is always going to be king, and it makes me kind of think of like the gold and silver industry as well, because those prices are always fluctuating. But here, it's going to be a much bigger struggle because the banks and government don't want any part of it. They almost kind of see it as criminal, if you will, because of the dark web and drugs and all that kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see. And when you're comparing that to oil and everything, something that's much more international and easy to understand and translate, it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects us here. There actually is a Bitcoin ATM at a store here locally. So if you have Bitcoin, you can take your digital wallet via your phone or whatever. And if you need to withdraw $100, you can enter your security stuff and you can basically cash out your Bitcoin. So it's not like it's unheard of. It's just interesting to see how everybody's kind of using it
seeing the same thing between China and the US, actually. There is this kind of competition in which China is trying to forward the currency, the digital currency system as a method of payment that would just turn around the banking system only probably to make the dollar weak. That's exactly the point you were making. And on the other side, you have America not falling into it, of course, because the dollar is still solidly in the hands of the Federal Reserve and dominating most of the Middle Eastern field. I mean, let's face it, obviously, the battleground economic wise right now is the Middle East. Okay, that's where everything is revolving around. So we have America deploying troops there and making agreements for the oil, and we have China offering energetic things, energy and other supply to the Middle East, trying to convince Saudi Arabia and other allies, except Israel, to pull out from the American influence and go back to China and build infrastructures and have energy for free and have a hybrid things and have digital currencies. So that's what China is trying to put on the table. Clean energy, the electric grid, and hybrid or electric systems and digital currencies. America, on the other side, is holding on their domination and trying actually to expand it to, for example, the South China Sea. Like right now, Bitcoin and all the digital currencies is more like a peer-to-peer affair, and the government's trying to stay away from it because of this, I believe. Because if we follow American model like Europe right now, it's actually on the it's actually hesitating because there are a lot of countries in Europe that are still following the NATO and American, say so. But on the other hand, we have China really putting a lot of pressure on, the way we should loosen our ties with America and go to China to have some benefits. So I believe we are really in the middle of a digital Cold War at the moment. How do you see things from your business point of view?
Ironically, one thing the government doesn't want to touch, is that necessarily a bad thing? No, but at the same time, there really isn't any backing to it, which I think is where a lot of people are hesitant. I think the number one reason is a lot of people don't understand. And as it's becoming more common, it's becoming something we're seeing. There is a lot better understanding about how it works, but I don't think people realize the potential it could actually have. And I think that's kind of where we fall back to, well, how is this going to be regulated? How is this going to be handled and dealt with? But right now it's kind of going, well, how do we actually sit and regulate that? How are we going to get to that point where we can use that in a bigger sense, so that acceptance of it is going to come around? But I don't think it's going to have a big part of anything we do. And actually, this might be something where we sit back and kind of let other people figure it out and kind of make our decisions based off of that. Like you were saying, in China already being regularly used, great. Maybe we might look and see how they're handling it, how they're regulating it. But for the time being, I really don't think it's going to have a lot of motion for years, decades, even if that.
And so, if I ask you the question, for example, you have to invest in a business and you'll be offering some backing up a digital coin or transaction digital coins as opposed to go to bank and ask for loan or make an agreement for, like, I don't know, tax reductions or anything. In terms of, like, would you still doing business with bank, or would you rather go and jump on that digital coin business to finance or to back up your business?
I mean, it'd be one less thing you have to do every day, go to the bank, to deposit stuff or make those transactions. So I think it would be nice to actually see and have that, a little ease of use, because right now, with everything being digital, there's almost no need to go to a bank right now as it stands. But it's really challenging to say, because I would like to do some more investing, and you want to kind of see that progression, everything move forward. Personally, it's in a digital wallet I have right now, and it's just kind of accruing and going. And if it increases, awesome. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
no, there is also that the little system that I was thinking. I don't know if it's too crazy, but for example, if you decide to invest in a business and you want to set up a blockchain system, actually, it's kind of like if all the customers in your business, let's say restaurant or any other service providing a store, becomes a kind of your shareholders. Like if they
Sure.
do transactions based on the projects or the events that you create in your restaurant, and by doing the transaction, exchanging in and out, sell and buy, they then increase the value of your business by increasing the value of the digital coin they're backing up the business. So I think that's how I see things, but I don't know, or I'm not aware of anybody really trying this. How do you see this thing?
It is almost right now kind of viewed. I look at it as just another stock market in reality, like you said, becoming a shareholder. So when I look at, my shares of the different things like that, that holds value, right? So that's where I've kind of made that mental connection, like you were literally just referring to, is it's that I have a stake in
Yeah.
this. And it would be really interesting to see how that is handled locally, like you were saying, because it's has so much potential here, and we're at that point where we're kind of just starting to figure this out. And it would be interesting to see, like you said, if that does become a more local or a small business things where you can kind of, make your own, handle it however you see fit.
Well, I think our questions, be soon answered, because starting the next episodes, Alex, you know that we're going to start bringing in some guests, some what we call them the startuppers.
Yep.
We're going to have some people, actually young people that want to start a business, and they're going to confront with us. They're going to share their hopes, their fears, their concerns, questions to us, and we're going to have to face them in different situations. So we can anticipate that perhaps we're going to have some people from India and Indonesia, and also we're trying to rope in some of our connections, also to young guys that we know from the U.S., Europe. So we're being slowed down by the situation, the worldwide situation, but nonetheless, we're trying to keep afloat. We're trying to still move forward. That's the message that I would like to give to these young guys.
With everything that's happened, I think we're at that point now where we're able to kind of step back and not make our own decisions, but kind of have a little bit better of an idea of what has happened, what is happening, and what's going to happen. And there's a lot of big changes coming, and it's good to know that there's a little bit of a better sense of unity in some aspects, at least on the local level. But keeping an eye on everything is always a big challenge, because there's so much nowadays, and it really is just kind of a matter of getting through this as best as we can and trying to, think ahead, plan better. And
All right, so you take care, and I'll see you next. Should be next week. We'll see, but next episode for sure, you guys gonna have a surprise third party coming in and talking to us.
absolutely, stay safe over there, Diego. We'll be in touch.